Roberto Rossellini was one of the most influential Italian film directors of his time, laying the foundations for what would later be known as Italian Neorealism, or a style of film that used untrained actors, real locations, and even documentary footage to help truly reflect the life and times of Italy in the 1940s. Rossellini grew up surrounded by movies, as his father, Angiolo Giuseppe Rossellini, converted the stables of the 17th century Barberini Palace and built the first cinema in Italy, the Barberini, in 1930. Here, Roberto was given unlimited access to the films being projected, and he and his brother Renzo would learn every aspect of how to make their own films. And while Roberto became a director, many of his films had musical scores made by his brother Renzo. Roberto Rossellini made his directorial debut in 1941 with The White Ship. This, along with A Pilot Returns in 1942 and The Man with a Cross in 1943, were propaganda films and are sometimes known today as the Fascist Trilogy, as they had one central purpose: to drum up support for the Italian fascist government and their war effort. For many, his most important and influential film was Rome Open City, which Rossellini directed in 1945, shortly after Allied forces occupied Rome. The film is set in 1944, when Rome was still under Nazi occupation, and focuses on a variety of characters, such as a priest, a resistance fighter, a soon-to-be bride, but perhaps most notably, members of the public, many of whom were not trained actors and added a sense of authenticity to the film. Complementing this was shots of how the streets of Rome truly looked towards the end of the war, with streets being patrolled by soldiers, damaged buildings, and inhabitants facing poverty and hunger. While these all added to the intended aesthetic of the film, they also reflected the very meager budget, which was cobbled together from many different people, including Rod E. Geiger, a United States soldier who had access to film stock, and is credited as a huge influence on not only finishing the film, but also securing its popularity worldwide. The realism of the film exposed both dark moments, which seemed almost inevitable in such desperate times, as well as the potential kindness of humans, with small moments of sharing food or a rare comedic scene exposing the perseverance behind a downtrodden society. This style was later seen in the works of many Italian filmmakers, but perhaps most notably Vittorio De Sica's 1948 film Bicycle Thieves, a tale of a father and son looking for a stolen bike that is necessary for the father's new job. While the narrative is simple, the Italian neorealism style is used so beautifully, the film was voted the greatest film of all time by Sight and Sound magazine in 1952. While Italian neorealism was born out of the necessity of small budgets and scarce resources, it is a style of cinema that reflects the culture and mood of the time in which it is shot, and celebrates the best of humanity while also exploring the very worst.